digs at Whitmore's place. Was gonna sleep outside, but it's, as you saw, was absolutely pouring down rain for a couple of days. So this is his fishing shack, and he's been letting me use this Helinox cot, which works pretty good. So anyway, I'm getting packed up and ready to head to Eastern Virginia, where I plan on visiting the graves of my grandparents, both of whom have passed away in the past few years. So I'm going to go all the way to the bottom of the peninsula and then take the bridge tunnel over to Norfolk, and then try to figure out where they're buried. So I'm sitting out back at the food line. Just got myself some rotisserie chicken. We are pretty much all the way at the bottom of the Delmarva Peninsula down there. So about 10 more miles till we get to the Chesapeake Bay Bridge-Tunnel. It's like half bridge, half tunnel, and a lot of people tell me it's pretty cool. So I'm gonna gobble up some rotisserie chicken and get going that way. Hello. 14? Thank you. Featuring a whopping 12 miles of bridges and 2 one-mile-long tunnels, the Chesapeake Bay Bridge-Tunnel is quite an engineering marvel. If it wasn't for this bridge tunnel, I'd have to ride through the Washington, D.C. area, one of the absolute shittiest places in the world to be on a motorcycle, or any motor vehicle for that matter.
Para mi gente, con una pasión tan fuerte. Ay, 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 ahora sigo cantando y sigo gozando, yo sigo cantando y sigo gozando.
Although I'd mercifully missed out on the insanity of riding through Washington, D.C., I quickly became acquainted with the experience of navigating through Norfolk, Virginia. So this is the town of Franklin, Virginia. This is in eastern Virginia. This is the area where my grandparents are from. Pretty much as soon as I got here, I could smell the peanuts in the air. This area is famous for Virginia peanuts. Pretty much anytime I used to see my grandfather, he'd be snacking on some Virginia peanuts. So weather's about 80 degrees. I'm gonna go in here and get some water from the grocery store and go pay my respects to their grave. Having not been back in many years, I was surprised to see sorghum growing out here. This is a new thing to catch on, but the reasons are fairly obvious. As a silage crop, it produces similar yields to corn with 30 to 50% less water usage. So here at the cemetery, got some flowers to use to pay my respects. We'll see you later. It's a real tragedy that we're only here for such a short time. Both my grandparents had lived fully to a ripe old age, and at a certain point, at least in the case of my grandfather, I could sense his readiness to pass on into the next realm. I firmly believe that while human beings are made from temporal, mortal stuff, there's a spirit inside which simply moves on once the body wears out. I can't prove it, but it's just a feeling. After paying my respects, I began looking behind the cemetery for a place to stealth camp for the night. Off to the left, you can see the house where my great-grandmother lived. As a kid, we'd come here to visit, and I can still remember getting the wind knocked out of me after climbing high into a pecan tree and falling onto the unforgiving ground. Ever since that little adventure, I've always been wary of heights. I'm looking at this. This is kind of a little bit of swampland. It doesn't look like it's going to rain, and it's not too inundated at the moment. But somewhere in here, looks like it'd probably work. Got to be a little wary of cottonmouth snakes around here. They are abundant. My grandfather used to tell a story of going out fishing, and somehow a snake got in the boat, and they were out there drinking and ended up shooting some holes in the boat. That there looks like as good a spot as any. Put my bike right there. This is probably one of the easiest spots I've ever found. Trying to get the sun out of the way. This was probably one of the easiest spots I've ever found. I'm like less than a mile outside of town. Saw all these woods and started looking for a path into the woods. Had a good night last night, except for a lot of spiders just everywhere. I got bit on the elbow by some kind of a brown spider, probably a wolf spider. Didn't look like a brown recluse. Anyway, I'm headed back home to get some things kind of situated and get ready for my trip this winter to the Philippines. But today's Sunday morning, so the traffic shouldn't be bad. The journey home would take me clear across the state of Virginia and into the Appalachian Mountain Range. Still traveling across eastern Virginia. Nothing much out here. It was looking a little rainy, so I decided to stop and put some gloves on. Other than that, temperature's good, 72 degrees or so. While I'm here, I'm gonna go ahead and make a little bit of a repair on my GoPro. As you can see, this thing's definitely seen better days, but with it looking like rain, I don't really want that exposed circuit board and everything like that. So I'm just gonna put a piece of Gorilla Tape on that. I think it'll probably hold up. Although there hadn't been any serious weather on the forecast, before long I found myself under a thick canopy of dripping grayish-white clouds, and after a short period of denial about the situation, I found a church with an awning and pulled under it. All right, parked under the awning of this church. The weather has done and got bad on me. Didn't see any of this mentioned in the weather forecast, but you know how that goes. So anyway, I'm going to take advantage of this shelter I got under this awning. Churches are everywhere. Usually, you know, they don't care if you sit there. I've even been fed, offered food, and things like that. But anyway, I'm hoping this lets up. It doesn't look like it's going to. I stayed under the awning for about the next hour doing push-ups and trying to warm up. This is just one of those rains that doesn't look like it's going anywhere anytime soon. I don't want to have to ride in it, but I also don't feel like staying here indefinitely. Anyway, back on the road. There comes a point in every motorcyclist's life where you just have to say screw it and ride on. The asphalt shimmered like a sheet of glass as I got back on the road. Around Rocky Mount, I began my ascent into the mountains. I considered stopping somewhere to let the rain pass, but by this point I was already thoroughly drenched, and any inactivity would have resulted in a loss of body temperature. The best way to stay engaged was to keep on riding. Hey, what's up? This is Joe. I hope you enjoyed that video of the ride across Virginia. Just a quick reminder, if you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. And as usual, I've included an optional donate link in the drop box for anybody that might like to contribute to this project. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the road.